So I think this is something important to bring up because I see a lot of people going back and forth about this online, and part of me part of me just thinks that we're bored or something. I don't know what the real cause for this stuff is, but I'm just going to lay this out there, okay? The average person is buying probably a couple games a month, sometimes one game a month, and mostly, they're playing free to plays, they're playing stuff, people buy them stuff. This whole $80 thing, we're actually acting so outraged over something so small. The increase is $20. And I get this won't be like a super popular opinion because people are like paying more. Their instant reaction is they don't want to. And that's totally fair. There are other avenues to get these things. But the reality is we're acting like we're like suckling at the teat of video game developers and media people. Like, do you really need your fix that bad? And this $20 increase is going to kill you? I totally get where it's coming from. But the thing that's even more ironic is that all of you are lying sacks of shit. A lot of you are. We've been overpaying past 60 for a long time. I can't even tell you the last time that I talked to any one of the people that I've known and they're out here shelling out like $200, $300 in a year on a free-to-play game. And that's not to mention the hidden mobile epidemic where you got these fucking people on their phones doing, just a $20 purchase, just a $20 purchase. And we're acting outraged. We're acting like, man, this $80 thing can't stand it. And it might not be the hot take that everyone wants. It might not be anything like that. Now, I do think, like that, whatever company that was saying, if you're a true fan, you'll find the $80. They're going to find out that people don't like them rubbing their faces in it. I mean, that's just the truth. But on the flip side, I gotta be honest, he's right. Okay? He's right. You will find the $80. You bet your ass you will. If you are a fan of that franchise and you want to get the game, you're going to get the game. Like, I've heard so many people cope and say just the wildest shit over stuff. But like, the reality is, like, I'm listening to them talk and I'm like, but you're definitely getting the game. And then it's going to be like, yeah, most likely. And I don't even know why. I don't know why we even pretend to be outraged. And this, I talked about free to play and I talked about mobile. But I'm just going to be honest here. We have been paying $80 for a long time. You guys are out of touch. If you think that when Oblivion first came out, we didn't buy the metal box edition that came with the fucking map and everything. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying in your head. You're like, well, hey, that's not a fair comparison. They gave us cool shit back then. But hey, guess what? They don't give us cool shit anymore, and we're still paying not 80, not 90, we're paying 100. How do I know? Because I'm sorry, but I was there when Space Marines came out, and you'll never fucking, that new Space Marines came out, and you'll never fucking guess which copy that I purchased. Okay? Now, I know that you personally, anecdotally, like your experience in the world, you're like, well, I got the cheap one. Okay, that's fine. But the reality is, if there's a game that you really want to play, they're not wrong. You will find the money. Okay? And I don't care how you have to do it, but I know I grew up semi-poor. A lot of my friends were poor. If there's something we wanted and it was entertainment related, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. You know? Even if it means, yo, bro got the game, we're all going over there to hang out. You know, I'm just saying, the number of people that will wait in line for a midnight release, freezing weather, camping for days, drinking their own piss. But then the market says, well, the new price is 80, guys. And we act like they're crucifying us. That's not the case. We've been harvested for a long time for way more money. I mean, even the games where you purchase it and you're like, and this is a big cope. This is the biggest cope that I've heard. They'll say, well, it's a one-time purchase. I don't have to buy anything else. I get to play it for free. And, you know, in some games that was true. I remember the Guild Wars when it came out and it advertised itself as a one-time purchase game. I had a lot of, and this is dating myself a little bit, but I had a lot of people that said that's bullshit. There's no way that they're going to let you pay for a game and then continue to play it for free. But guess what? They did. They did exactly that. And, you know, while obviously, you know, they came out with more games, more expansions and what have you, overall, you know, that system was new. It was exciting. People were interested in it because a lot of people like me had played EverQuest and, you know, we're paying a monthly fee every single month, and we still do. And, you know, it's the same with WoW. To be honest, when I was playing WoW, it's like, you know, you pay a monthly fee. That's archaic nowadays. Even though we do buy consoles, and then to have the right to play online, we buy, you know, it's like, and that's why it's funny for me because I have PC, and I don't have to pay my internet bill and a fucking subscription to allow me to use that internet on a console. So I think it's even worse than we think. There's a lot of coping going on. And also, speaking of the highest levels of cope I've ever fucking seen in my life, we talk about this $80 thing being so bad when anyone with TikTok sees all of these dudes spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on sports games. Yeah, I say hundreds and hundreds. No, you know what I'm going to go ahead and say? I'm going to say thousands. I'm going to say my brother specifically spent over $2,000 on Apex the last time that he showed me this shit. Okay? And that's a lot of money for a free-to-play game. And you're probably asking, well, how the fuck did he do that? Well, he had every heirloom, and heirlooms in that game gonna run you about $100 if you're lucky. Sometimes it's $150, whatever. There's an unlock where you automatically get it, and you know it's gambling. But and that's something else. I didn't even think about because I don't play many. I don't play a lot of Asian games, just for this reason. Because they're not really games, right? They're just little hamster wheels for you to jerk yourself off on. Sometimes literally. Sometimes these people literally do. I mean, I don't even think I'm allowed to bring Genshin Impact up without alerting the FBI to my presence. But the amount of money that these companies are reporting you guys are spending on those games is disgusting. But $80 is a problem. Like, brother. Now I get it. You know, some people are making pretty low wages. You've got bills. But even when I didn't have money, even when I really didn't have money, I still had power. I still had internet. I had a shitty computer. And I'm talking about I was living on, I mean, you could basically just say food stamps. You could basically just say, like, you know, and because this is me going from the lowest part that I can think of. It's like, but did I still buy video games at that time? And I would say, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's irresponsible. You shouldn't do it. You should probably go ahead and pay off that credit card that you've been waiting on. But I think at the same time, the level that we cope at is sometimes disconnected from reality. Sometimes we really are in our feels, emotional, and not understanding that there's no way that everyone is complaining about this at the level they are, threatening strikes, you know, trying to get things like overturned, threatening to go full pirate mode, like doing all this stuff. Oh, and that's all while everyone's jerking Nintendo off. And I think that's ridiculous, you know? Nintendo's out here like, you don't even own the fucking system. And you're like, please, take the money. And something else I learned through that whole experience is Nintendo doesn't do discounts. You're paying the fucking money. You're paying what they want you to pay. You will pay it. And you'll be happy and grateful for the chance to do so. Now, to be fair, I'm going to make this point. I do think, again, people are in hard economic times. A lot of people don't make that much money. There's more important things in life. But as reality goes, there is a secondhand market. And that is disappearing as everything moves closer to digital. But the secondhand market also applies to G2A and other things like that, where you can find discount keys that you can put into Steam and get the game for way cheaper. And even that people have complained about. They say it's unethical. But I think at the same time, we live in 2025, and we are livid about an increase that's it's overdue. Okay, it's overdue. It's not like bread went from $1 a loaf to $6, because you've seen what happened when that happened to eggs. This is an increase that should have happened years ago. And honestly, since, you know, because I keep thinking about Oblivion, when they added the horse armor, right? And it being one of the first things you could purchase in game, and we all ate it up. I think sometime around that time, these companies have put things in games like that. And you've purchased it with no problem. Almost happy to. Skins in games that you paid for that aren't unlockable. They're rare and they're, I think of Tekken. I think of how you get things. Like, when does the excuses stop? I guess that's my main point, is how can you simultaneously have such high hatred for something and be so dysfunctional about your reasoning? But on the other hand, if an OnlyFans girl said that she was running a discount, you'd be like, well, it's 50% off. At the end of the day, I do have sympathy. Again, I think in the times that we live in, I think entertainment's important. You want to be occupied. You don't want to be out there on the streets. It's a tough time for a lot of people. And I do also think, though, at some point we have to be honest with ourselves. Even if you think that you can't afford something like this, and maybe you can, right? There are people who are literally not able to even consider the world that you live in. They can't even fathom spending $80 on a game, let alone $80 in a month. In some cases, some of these places are really poor. It's an incredibly crazy first world problem to be this upset. And I looked at a lot of posts before I made this video, and I could not find the silver lining. I could not find anyone giving this take. And that's how I know that at the end of the day, whoever's watching this, I'm sorry. I know that it's not going to be received well, but I just have to say it, because something's not clicking here. And the only argument that I really just, that people are, I guess would be really valid for me, is that people might be thinking like, hey, no, that's for the base game only. Like, yeah, but indies will still exist. Indies will still exist and make better games than AAA. This is really more of a AAA thing than anything. The games, like, I got Terraria for like 10 or less. Play the shit out of that. When I see 80, and this is the ironic thing, you can roast me in the comments for it, but when I see an $80 game, I really think, do I want this? Or do I want to just wait and get something I really want? Do I want it for 80? No. A lot of these games are so bad, and these teams are fucking with them so much and putting in just weird, dumb, disgusting, cringe, the worst things you can imagine. I think if anything, this 80, this increase to $80 is going to weed those companies out faster than ever before. Because before, right, you were willing to buy the game that sucked dick for $60. But now you have a reason, other than the $42 million that they already gave you, unfinished games, broken on release, lied about what was in the game, and I still have not bought Cyberpunk. Okay? I need you to realize I'm a man of my word. I didn't buy Cyberpunk because they lied. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna be a fucking I'm not going to be like, well, they really tried hard to improve their image. I don't care. I'm not buying your stupid game. And it's the same with a couple others that had come out. They lied about it. That fucking space game, whatever it was called. They put online on the box and had to cover it up and lie about it. And now people tell me that game is improved too, but you know what? I'm not going to play it. You can hold things accountable and actually stick to your guns on things, but you know, I guess that's what I mean on this kind of line of thinking about this $80 for me personally. This is me personally, not just thinking out loud. I probably won't be buying a lot of $80 games. This doesn't affect me at all. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't affect me at all because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that. And honestly, how many of these games do we think are going to be on Game Pass? Because Game Pass is not $80. And, you know, what other systems will come out to allow you to just have access to a large library of games for a cheap amount? Due to this, isn't it more economical to pay so many money a month to have access to a bunch of stuff, you know, for the whole month? Because we also, that's another point. We also, at the end of the day, I think especially people my age, we romanticized renting games. Going to a store and renting a game. Yeah, cool. It was a cool experience. We liked the ritual. We were addicted to the ritual, okay? And what that means for some of you is you'll have like little things that you do that make you happy to do them. Some of you wake up at 5 a.m. and go on runs. Not my audience, right? But no, for real. Some of you wake up 5 a.m., go on a run, and it's the ritual of going on the run that makes you pumped up for the day or happy for the day. It has nothing really to do with the physical benefits or anything else. That's just a side thing. If you have like a ritual you do, like you get in from work and the first thing you do is you have like these set patterns that you fulfill, and after you do it, you feel good. You feel good about yourself. I think that we were addicted to the ritual. And part of that ritual about that renting is that if you talked about renting today to somebody, they'd say, well, that's fucking stupid. But we do it all the time. Those subscription services are rental services. You're still addicted to those systems. You just don't think of it in the same way. And honestly, yeah, it is a cheaper way. Literally. But the experience is cheaper too. So I want to know what you guys think. If you've got to roast me, I guess go ahead and do it, right? But at the end of the day, am I lying? Am I lying? I feel like I see certain things like this, and I feel like it needs to be a frank talk between, people. We should look at ourselves in the mirror a little more often than we do, because there's plenty of things to complain about. A lot of bad shit's going down. A lot of people getting hurt. This is not that big of a deal. It never was. But we're under the thumb of entertainment. And quite frankly, a lot of you have proven time and time again that you won't vote with your dollar. I mean, it's only been recently. I've been doing this for a long time. It's only been really recently that collectively a lot of people have decided that this is how we're going to stand up to it. And it's working, is the thing. So I think if there's a game that's really good, you should try to find the $80. If there's a game you want to support, do it. But overall, there's so many other ways and so many other things you could be doing. This just isn't a big deal. I hope I put this into perspective and I talked about all sides of it. So I want to be fair on this because this could be an emotional subject. It seems pretty emotional online. People are pretty pissed. Hopefully not a lot of it's directed at me, but I genuinely want to know what you guys think. Put it down there at the bottom. I reply to every single comment. So I guess I'm fucked, right? So you guys have a good one, though.